Welcome to another episode of Rich Doc Poor Doc. And today, Kenji and I are really excited because we're going to be talking about single families versus small multifamilies versus large multifamilies. And this discussion really comes out of so many people in the real estate investing space being out there saying, single families are the only right way to invest. And other people being like, oh, big multifamily, like 60 units are the only way to go. And Kenji and I have now invested in actually the full range from single family to lots of duplexes and fourplexes. Our biggest property is now a 32 unit together. And so we've seen that whole range, and we think there's upsides and downsides to all of them. And that, just thinking that only one is the right choice is a little bit constricting, really. And so we wanted to help you guys think through the upsides and downsides so you can decide which is the right fit for you and what range you want in your portfolio. And you might walk out of here and say, you know what, I love single family, that's all I want. Or you might walk out of here like we do and have a range of all three in your portfolio, but know that there's strengths and weaknesses of each And then group. Lastly, I just want to talk about return, because I think this is another really important point that needs to be the foundation of this discussion, which is ultimately the first choice comes down to the cash on cash return. And if you're looking at a single family and versus a fourplex and they have equal cash on cash return, that's what we're talking about here. Like, what are the upsides and downsides? I would never say like go buy a single family that has a cash on cash return of like 2% versus a small multifamily that has a cash on cash return of 15% and choose the single family instead. So for us, the basis always starts with the cash and cash return. And this is all assuming that your cash and cash return is equivalent across all.
That can be a double-edged sword, right? That can also be a downside, because since you don't have control over that market appreciation, it could be that your property value drops. And I've had that situation myself where the property just stagnated for years and years and years. And I was hoping for market appreciation and it just never came. And it really, sucks, especially if you're in a negative cash flow situation. It really sucks to have that property just languish. That's kind of how I think about these properties. They just languish. And so, again, we like to control our appreciation. And therefore, again, that I would say that would be one of the downsides for me of a single family home. And so let's talk about some more kind of upsides of a single family home. I think one of the upsides for me of a single family rental is that typically they're going to pay all the utilities. Right. And that's going to lower your costs. And that's great, because then you're going to, you get rental income. And one of the big expenses for a lot of these multifamily properties is utilities. And so therefore, it's really nice to not have to worry about utilities. And also landscaping would be, I would consider that, kind of put that under the bucket of utilities. That's also something that they're going to take care of: snow removal, landscaping.
And then I think the last really big upside of a single family home is maybe the tenant quality and like how long they're going to stay with you. I think that if somebody's renting an apartment for $500 a month versus renting a house for $1,000, like they may show up differently and treat it differently. And then just, again, they're responsible for all those utilities and the landscaping. They treat it more like their home. So I think there's something to be said that potentially you're going to get a better tenant who stays with you longer, takes better care of your property in a single family home. The other thing I love about small multifamily compared to single family home is there's more efficiency. And that's again because you have only one roof for 2 units. And so one foundation. So there is more efficiency. You get lower cost per unit in general. So you can grow your portfolio faster with more doors than if you're just buying single family homes in general.
Yeah, I think one of the downsides of a small multifamily is the fact that oftentimes some of the utilities aren't split up. And oftentimes like water and sewer, for example, won't be split up by tenant. And so therefore, the owner has to pay for that. And now you can bill back, right? And that's something that I think it's a really huge opportunity for increasing the income of these properties. But typically when you're buying these properties, you'll find that the owner's kind of paying for that as opposed to the tenants paying for it. So unlike the single family home where the tenant's paying for all of the different utilities, with the small duplex or fourplex, what you'll find often is that the owner's paying for it. And same with the landscaping and the snow removal. Oftentimes the owner is paying for that.